We begin with continuing coverage of the great performance Virgin Islands athlete Aaliyah Boston has shown us on the hardwood. The celebration continues for Boston after winning a national title with the South Carolina Gamecocks. Along with the national championship, the 6'5" hoop star has swept almost every award, including multiple awards for National Player of the Year. This past summer, Aaliyah had a chance to work with VI basketball legend Tim Duncan. The opportunity was brought together by Duncan's best friend, who shares more on how awesome it was to watch two USVI superstars hit the hardwood.
When I had the opportunity to present the idea to Tim to work out with her and what it could possibly mean for her, first of all, it's not the first time we did that for a VI collegiate athlete with promise. And he took it on. But if you ask Tim, he takes zero credit for her success. And to be honest, she came there ready. I feel like if anything happened between Tim working with her and what we see now, it was all between the ears. Just a mental approach to the game, just realizing how good she is, and the fact that, yeah, you are working out with the greatest power forward of all time.
28 points, 22 rebounds for Aaliyah Boston.
They're very much the same. They're very similar personalities. Aaliyah lets that bubbly side show. Tim is a comedic guy that most people would never believe. But, you know, it was thrilling to see this run. Aaliyah is more decorated than a Christmas tree right now. She's won everything. Deserving of everything, and what's not to like? It's kind of like Tim. What's not to like? You know, and to see them succeed brings me joy.
And brings joy to the entire territory. Decorated, more decorated than a Christmas tree. I like that comment. COVID-19 cases remain steady in the territory, but we're seeing a bit of a spike right now in St. Thomas. According to the latest numbers from the VI Department of Health, there are 82 active cases territory-wide, with 18 on St. Croix, which is a bit of a dip. There are now 55 active cases on St. Thomas and 9 current cases on St. John. The VI Health Department says the BA2 subvariant has not been confirmed here in the territory at last check, although they do believe it is here. This as cases of the BA2 subvariant of the Omicron variant are continuing to increase nationwide. According to data from the CDC, the variant now accounts for nearly 72% of all COVID-19 cases. The estimate is up from 55% a week ago when the subvariant became the dominant strain spreading across the U.S. The BA2 subvariant is said to be more contagious than the original strain of Omicron, but experts say that's no time to panic, though, because cases still remain low nationwide, and there is no indication that the subvariant is more severe than the original Omicron strain. Again, the VI Department of Health has sent those positive test samples for sequencing, but as of yet, we have not found the subvariant here, but again, they likely do believe it is here. The U.S. Coast Guard confiscated 1,000 kilograms of cocaine off the coast of Puerto Rico recently. Law enforcement stopped the Go Fast vessel in the Caribbean Sea near Puerto Rico last week, back on March 30th. On board, they found 2 men along with a huge stash of cocaine valued at about $20 million. The contraband was later unloaded from a Coast Guard cutter in San Juan. The men and the drugs are now in the custody of special agents of the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA. The Coast Guard says the bust was the result of a multi-agency effort involving the Caribbean Border Interagency Group as well as the Caribbean Corridor Strike Force. There's a new push in the meantime to legalize marijuana nationwide at the federal level, with the House just passing a bill now sitting in the Senate. Official acceptance of the drug, though, seems to be increasing, with companies like Amazon ending testing of many job seekers, and major sports leagues have eased restrictions too, like Major League Baseball. It no longer bans marijuana, and the NBA relaxed its testing requirements. The NFL is funding research on the drug's health benefits. But cannabis still carries the unmistakable whiff of stigma for those who use it. So, for more than 50 years after the war on drugs began, here's what it may take to change that stigma.
3, 2, 1, happy 420! In almost every state in America, the old laws against marijuana have been rewritten. But when it comes to talking about it,
One question.
What's the question, brother?
How often do you consume cannabis?
we found that new laws or not, most people seem to be following an old playbook.
Just say no to drugs.
Wait, this is your official
That's
position.
my official position.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, I'm mum about
You
it.
can't say it.
Yeah.
You seem a little bit uncomfortable admitting it.
I suppose.
I'm dancing around
You're
it, but
dancing around it.
yeah.
And when people do open up, as some did,
I definitely got high a lot over COVID.
it turns out that laws can change in an instant. But worries about being stereotyped as a cannabis user are a lot harder to shake.
I mean, I'd probably feel weird if my mom saw this.
This is your brain on drugs.
If you were a kid in the 80s and 90s, as I was, you grew up on a steady diet of anti-drug programs and public service announcements.
If you use pot, you're not using your brain.
Pot was also a primary target of the drug war, something else I experienced firsthand when one of President Reagan's drug task forces busted my own father for dealing what was, and still is, a banned substance under federal law. A lot has changed with some form of legalization in 47 states, but so much has not. No one in Congress openly uses cannabis, and it can be problematic when a Fortune 500 CEO lights up.
I mean, it's legal, right?
It's totally legal.
Okay.
After Elon Musk appeared to smoke a joint on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Tesla's stock value plummeted. But as legalization spreads, a growing list of celebrities and athletes have put a different face on the industry. Even former Republican House Speaker John Boehner has changed his stance on marijuana, as he told John Dickerson last year on CBS Sunday Morning.
I drink red wine. If somebody wants to smoke a joint or eat a gummy, that's really none of my business.
And now a politician from Louisiana is going one step further.
Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me.
Gary Chambers is running for U.S. Senate, and in a first-of-its-kind campaign video, he decided to light up to make a point.
People just want to be within whatever the norm is in society, and we haven't figured out how to normalize this just yet.
Some 7 million people have watched the clip, who, as Chambers sees them, are 7 million potential converts to a new image of cannabis.
What do you think the image of the cannabis consumer should be?
A United States Senator.
He's already convinced his parents.
At first, my dad was like, "Boy, you smoking that dope?" And I had to say, Dad, it's not the same as dope. But we got to have a real conversation about it. And if my 75-year-old mom and 79-year-old father can evolve on the conversation, then I'm not really concerned what anybody else thinks about it.
And so as we change our laws to bring cannabis out of the courts,
I just feel like it's something that we should have always had. So it should have always been legal.
it's still going to take some time and a change in our culture to bring it out of the closet.
How often do you use marijuana?
Honestly, every day.
It took you a second before you said yes. Were you thinking about saying no?
I was. But then I was like, you know what? No, why not? It's 2022, different times now.
Oh, interesting story. So the House approved the bill last week. The bill would remove pot from the federal list of scheduled controlled substances and also force courts to clear any related convictions around pot. The Democratic measure faces an uncertain future, though, in the 50-50 Senate. We'll keep you posted on it. A big effort's underway to help clean up a polluted Hawaii canal. Recently hit a big milestone. Hundreds of volunteers in Waikiki were there to help introduce bioremediation technology. It's all part of what seems like an insurmountable task. Reporter Casey Lung has a story.
Our goal is to make the Alawai swimmable, fishable in 7 years.
These small Genki balls that volunteers are throwing into the Alawai Canal could have a giant impact.
Basically, they're made of EM, microorganism, effective microbes, so they're all beneficial microbes. And a teaspoon of a healthy soil has 100 million to billion bacteria, according to USDA. So one ball has 3.3 billion to 33 billion beneficial bacteria.
And when doing something this good for the environment feels this fun, the effort may have the organization and people to make a difference.
We had over 200 people on the March 12th event to create the Genki balls, as well as this event.
It's a great, innovative way to help clean up the Alawai, which we know is an eyesore.
Genki means healthy or vital in Japanese.
Vitality, that's the focus here, and reclaiming this canal for future generations.
I think it's great. It's education. Everybody thinks the Alawai is what it is. It's just a collection where it's has a high fecal bacteria, pollution. Even though a lot of it's used for recreational use, like paddlers and whatnot, but it can be a jewel in Waikiki.
Thanks for coming out, and hope next year more people will join us.
Interesting way to clean up a waterway.